Can I say that? I just have to put this out there. I am so excited and so nervous that you got Nolie to do this. I've known about Nolie for a long time. Big fan of Nolie's work. Seen a lot of Nolie's done interviews in the past. I've seen a lot of them, and I think that Nolie's is very tough, a very tough critic, but very fair. So really eager to hear this interpretation, and very nervous. So
yeah. So without further ado, let's jump into this. Our first image is of Orange Cassidy. Man upstairs, Isaiah. If you can roll the clip.
Hey, Wrestling Club.
Oh,
this
Nolie.
is
Nolie.
And today we are looking at some awesome pictures. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to show you each one, and you're going to tell me what you think about them, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so here's the first one we got here.
That one's Orange Cassidy.
All right, what's he doing?
He's in this locker room, and he's putting his other foot down on the there.
Yeah. And what do you think he's thinking about?
I think he's thinking about drinking some oranges.
Drinking some oranges?
Yeah.
All right, and how does this make you feel?
Happy.
Happy?
Because I actually get to see my best friend Orange Cassidy.
So there we go, Orange Cassidy. Now you've picked these images. They're great, but also these are ones that might have a story behind them. So I'll leave this to you. What's the story behind this picture of Orange Cassidy?
So I have many stories of Orange Cassidy. I've been around Orange Cassidy for a long time, but this particular picture is from this really amazing wrestling show called Let's Hang Out. Let's Hang Out is like one of the closest versions of like punk rock wrestling that kind of exists on the East Coast right now. Highly recommended. They get really great people, but Orange Cassidy was on the show, and this is in the basement of where they do the show, which is like an old school moose lodge. So in the building, in the room right next door, there's actually a bowling alley. So while this picture was being taken, Andy Williams, Butcher and Blade were actually right in the next room, bowling in their ring outfits right before they were about to like go upstairs to like a wild crowd filled with like hundreds of punk kids, like just ready for the action.
Wow, that sounds like a great show. I was going to say it looks like a bowling locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Those shows are great. They actually, we were talking about this earlier. We were talking about indie shows, and I was saying I'm not quite sure I'm ready to go back to indie shows yet, but Let's Hang Out is running a show in May at a drive-in. So
okay,
they're going to be playing movies, like wrestling-related movies, and then have a ring set up and do real wrestling before the show.
That's Boomer Hatfield.
Boomer Hatfield, you think? If I were to tell you that the guy under that mask wrestles in WWE right now, who do you think that is?
Samoa Joe.
You think that's Samoa Joe?
Because he has the same pants.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
Those are both good guesses.
El Generico, we should mention. Not Boomer Hatfield. But what's the story behind this?
This photo is like this. I feel like I've been riding on the coattails of this photo for a really long time. It's like one of the first photos that I took of pro wrestling that really just like stuck and made sense, and people really liked, and it resonated. But yeah, this was El Generico. It was from like one of my favorite venues in like upstate New York. I want to say, I always forget where it is, but I think it's like Rochester. But it's like a little lads club. This is another place with a bowling alley in the basement, and I bowled with some of the wrestlers in the basement. Yeah, I loved this shot. And I gotta say, El Generico was one of the first people that like really pulled me aside and said, I always felt really uncomfortable photographing in the back and like photographing wrestlers when they're not just like in the ring and on. But he was one of the first people that pulled me aside and was like, it's so good that you're here documenting all of this other stuff, because it's good for us to have these memories to remember, like even in the future, it's going to be important to us. So just like know that it's like you're welcome here, and that like you're good at what you do, and like this is great, and I can't wait to like have these memories later on. So
The Wrestling Club with Darren and Brett. We've got a show that you'll never forget.